Hey there, it's Elizabeth, and welcome back to flip number 64. I apologize in advance for any sniffling and snarling I do. I've got a bit of a cold, but life must go on, or the show must go on, I guess. So this is my August-September Fibonacci. I use a Staples brand gridded notebook. That is my preferred book to use for my Fibonacci, and I glue 3 pages together to prevent bleed through. The front cover is made from just a calendar page that I found at Dollar Tree a couple years ago, and I just thought it was appropriate with it being an apple and it, starting fall and all of that kind of stuff. So let's get started. So inside, oops, let me move Roxanne over. Sorry, babe, gotta scoot. Okay. So inside, I just covered the inside with scrapbook paper and a nice little positive meme here. And then here is my pocket where I keep my little quotes that I stick up in my headers. And I also have just some bits and pieces in here that I use on occasion within my pages. So let me see. I always skip this page for some reason. Okay, so let's see. Now, currently, we are heading toward the end. In fact, I think today's September 30th. So this is from the beginning of the month, and I'm just going to hopefully briefly go through these pages. Yep, so on this day here, I filmed a lot of videos this day. I've been filming a lot of videos, if you hadn't noticed, and yeah, so I've been busy doing that, and it's been great fun, and it's really helped me a lot. Just making me feel a lot better physically because I'm occupied. I don't know. And then on this day here, I was trying to clean up my craft room because it looked like a complete disaster, so I did that. I also put together some little happy mails and sent those out. And yeah, my goodness, another migraine. So that was that day. And then this day here was a Friday. We did head down to the Keys for the first time in a while, I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I did spend time in my craft room in the morning, and I got some Fibonacci time in. And then, yeah, I was supposed to clean that day, and I was wanting to clean that day, and I'd like to know why these ladies look so dang happy, okay? Whoever looks like that when they're cleaning, not me. So I never did get the vacuuming done, but I did at least get the toilets cleaned, so that's good. And then I spent the afternoon, packing up a little bit, and we headed down for the long weekend because it was was it Labor Day weekend? I think so. Labor Day weekend, yeah. So we headed down for the long weekend, and we were just going to try to have a relaxing staycation at the other house. And I was really hoping that my migraine would abate soon. And then my kids stayed home, I think either all or part of the weekend. I can't remember. No, just this Friday night, I think, because my daughter had her pinning ceremony for her sorority, so she stayed home to do that. And then on this day, sorry for the glare. Okay. So on this day here, the kids were heading down later, and my husband and I were still house hunting, so I have some pamphlets in here on some of the houses that we saw. And we also, I think we went out to eat. Yeah, we had gone to see one of the houses, and then we had a little bit of a break, so we went and had breakfast, and I had tacos for breakfast. Sorry for the glare. I love tacos. I could eat them every day. And then this day here, this here is not my handwriting. It's not my lettering. I found it on like a magazine, and I thought it was nice, so I stuck it in here. I'm so super glad to be back in my favorite books, the Staples brand graded notebooks. And let's see. Oh, this was Sunday, so my daughter's boyfriend had come down in his boat. He drove his boat down to our house. And yeah, they had a day out, and after going to brunch at a local restaurant that we like to go to, so they had a very nice day together. And my husband and I, excuse me, my husband and I stayed home to keep the couch company. You don't want the couch to feel lonely, do you? So that was that day. And then this day here, just with everything that's going on with, my husband's health and my health, and we just weren't feeling well, and my husband was feeling really bad, so I just needed a kind of like a Zen day. And we were still down south, I believe. And then this day here, we were still down south. My kids had actually, I think, gone back home because they had to go to work on Tuesday. So my husband and I, this is a clip art that I found of the couch potatoes, and then I just drew in Big Handsome and Me, the lettering there. And then, yeah, so that morning we had tried to bring the boat up on the davits and scoot it, like pull it over onto our dock and put it on resters. And what a nightmare that was. So from all the stress of that, I was just like spent. So yeah, we spent the rest of the day binge watching Criminal Minds on Netflix. This day here, we headed back home, and I'd found some postcards that I would like to send out to people just because I think it's fun to get postcards from different areas of the country or different areas of the world. I just think it's so much fun. So yeah, I picked up a few Florida postcards. And yeah, our staycation, which we were hoping to have a relaxing staycation, it pretty much turned into a couchcation. Oh well, but it is what it is, and I'm just glad that my husband and I were together, so I don't really care what we do or where we are. As long as we're together, I am happy and content. Then I did spend a little bit of time in my art room, and I was getting a Happy Mail package ready to send out, so I was busy doing that. And then on this day here, I happened to be outside on my patio, and we have a lot of cardinals in our yard, whole families of cardinals. And I happened to see a mama and a daddy, and it just reminded me of my mom because she used to tell this story. I mean, it's a true story that about how one of our distant relatives actually had the northern cardinal, named after him. So that was the name of the bird back in 1918. Then they switched the name a few years later, I don't even know when, like at the end of the 1920s maybe. And he was actually an associate bird curator at the National Museum in Washington, D.C. So when I saw the cardinal that morning, it just reminded me of my mom proudly telling that story. And cardinals, they say cardinals appear when angels are near. So it just reminded me of my mom. And then on this day here, yeah, I was pretty frustrated, and I love this meme that I found. It says, "It's been lovely, but I have to scream now." I was on the phone with my insurance company, which my medical insurance company is a wonderful, we have wonderful medical insurance, so we're totally blessed, and they are so very helpful. My frustration comes in when I have to call the doctor's office, which usually I make my insurance company call the doctor's office and speak with them, because my doctor's office, for some reason, has no clue how to put claims in properly. So, oh my gosh, it's just always a nightmare, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that story because it's just frustrating. Then this weekend, it was a Friday, and my son had gone up with his youth group to Rock the Universe, and they were a few hours away. It's probably like a 10-hour round trip for us. And so he had gone up there in the morning and was so looking forward to this weekend. He had saved his money for his ticket, and he was going with a group of friends, and he was just so excited about it. And that afternoon, he called my husband and said that he was in the nurses station at Universal Studios with 103 fever. So yeah, that was terrible. It's just terrible when your big gem, is sick and they're far away from you. So yeah, it just, we were not able to just, hop in the car and, do the whole round trip right then. He was in capable hands. And then I remembered that my in laws were up a lot closer to him than we were. So they graciously went and picked him up. And then this day here, my husband drove and just did about a 5 hour round trip to go pick my son up from his grandparents. So that was super, super nice. And we were so thankful that my in-laws were able to pick him up and take care of him through the night. And yeah, then my husband went and picked him up the next day. Excuse me. And yeah, so that was that day. He was just miserable when he got home. And then, sorry for the glare again. And then here we had gone to Walmart, and where I was looking for yarn because I had started to learn to crochet. And so that was fun. And it was kind of funny because I had made like a little swatch square thing out of chain stitches. And when I was done with it and snipped the yarn off, my dogs got a hold of it. So they just enjoyed playing tug of war with my newly stitched swatch. So maybe I ought to just skip the granny squares and work on doggy chew toys. Oy. This day was, I was feeling salty this day. I was just having a pet peeve kind of day, and I'm not even going to go into that. So, yeah, I don't know. And I had seen this meme. Oops, you can't see it. I don't think. I had seen this meme and I thought it was so funny online, and it says passive aggressive. Passive aggressive is just another term for being bitchy while smiling. I just thought that was so funny. Anyway, yeah, my petty pet peeves. And then meanwhile, I spent the rest of the day taking care of my poor sunshine because he was on day 4 of the fever. He would take medicine, his fever would break, he would get all sweaty, and then he'd get a fever again. So, my husband and I were talking it over that he probably should head off to the doctor, fairly soon. So that was that day. And then let's see, this day, oh my gosh. It was my turn to go to the dentist. I had to get some a filling replaced. And so I was leaving the dentist office and I'm just walking to my car, and they had like a cobblestone sidewalk, and it must have been like one of the bricks was like raised or something. So my flip-flop caught on the brick and I literally went flying. I tripped, I fell, and I slid on the left side of my body. Now, today is September 30th. This happened back on the 13th of September, and literally I still have the bruise on my arm from this fall. Luckily, I don't think I hurt anything. And there was a lovely man there who was gracious enough to help me up and gather all my stuff, because stuff from my purse went flying, my glasses went flying. I just must have looked a wreck. My gosh, how embarrassing, right? But anyway, I'm fine, and I was fine, so... and I was able to get out my Happy Mail package, so I was glad for that. And my husband ended up taking my son to urgent care that afternoon when he got home from work, because he was still fighting this fever and found out that he had a raging ear infection. Apparently, the doctor said that he probably had a cold, which is the cold that I now have. Thank you very much. Yeah, so he had a cold that had just turned into an ear infection. So, he went to urgent care, and after, he didn't have to spend very long there. In all honesty, I don't know where urgent care has been all my life, but I would much rather take my kids or myself to urgent care than to wait 4 hours at a doctor's office. So, yeah. Anyway, so a couple of hours, maybe 2 hours for medications and a doctor's note later, he was resting at home. This day here marked the anniversary. No, it didn't mark the anniversary. Yes, it did mark the anniversary. I'm sorry. of my mother's passing, my sweet mother's passing. And I look forward to being reunited with her one day. And I do miss her so much. I think about her so often. She was a wonderful mother. And then in my morning's love letter that my husband sends me every morning, some of his words were, after my unfortunate fall this day, his words were, "Hope you don't trip and fall today. You need to take care of my beautiful wife." So that was really sweet of him. And then my daughter made dinner that night, paprika chicken. It's a Paula Deen recipe and it's so super yummy. And her boyfriend came over for dinner that night, so that was fun. And then this day I was working on the handmade journal for a sweet girlfriend of mine, and it's already been sent out and she already received it and she is enjoying it, hopefully. I do have, I believe, a couple of videos about the making of this journals, the making of this journal. So if you want to go back in my YouTube, whatever contents or whatever, you can find them. It's not too far back. Then I had a dermatology appointment that day because I have a dodgy spot on my face, so they needed to biopsy it. And I got a stitch put in my face, and I was supposed to get the stitch out a week later, which I did, and then the results were supposed to come back in 2 weeks, so I'm waiting on a call as we speak. And then we had been watching Stranger Things. My son had recommended it to us, and I'm not really big into sci-fi, so I didn't really care to watch it, but then we ended up watching it and I ended up really enjoying it. I'm not sure if it was if it was the story or the plot, or it could have been because it's like set in the 80s and I grew up in the 80s, so there are a lot of just, fun references, I guess. So anyway, yeah, I'm really looking forward to when the next season comes out on Netflix. And then this weekend here, we had a lover's weekend, no gems and no pups. So we headed down south, and as soon as we got there, I mean, my husband wasn't feeling all that great, but he just pushed himself, and we dropped the boat in the water. We went on a nice ride on the bay. He took me out to dinner on the water, so that was nice. And then we got back. When we were coming back, it was like the beginning of the sunset. So it was a beautiful ride back to the house. And I just wish he would have felt a little bit better. And these are just pictures. This is just a collage from magazine pictures that I had found. Sorry for the glare. And yeah, so I'll stop here and I will catch you next time on the next flip. And I will thank you for spending your time with me and listening to my ramblings. And I hope y'all have a great day, a great week. And I'll catch you next time.